Welcome to Deep Thought, Synchronicity. And this topic was asked for by one of my loyal supporters, Isaiah Parks. Synchronicity. You know, basically that's when you get a coincidence or something pops up where, like if you're thinking about something, like if you're thinking, you need a particular product or something, or a particular service, and then you talking with a friend and they happen to mention that service or somebody who does that service. Synchronicity. Or if you need like cheap tires or something, or like inexpensive tires, and then you driving along and just happen to see a place that you've never noticed before and they have a sale on tires. It's secret, like when something pops up and it is exactly what you need. And, or there's a coincidence, or, a big synchronicity is when I address a lot of topics and people say, hey, you were reading my mind. You were thinking about that. It's like you ask the word, however you choose to worship God, you ask that force, I'm having trouble with this woman, or I'm having trouble with this man, or I'm having a peculiar problem on my job, and then all of a sudden somebody does a video or something which addresses that issue. I've had that a lot. That's synchronicity. I'm going to go a little deeper here. And this is talked about in particularly in the path of, I call it a Pan-African path practiced by the Asar Set Society, when they talk about the nature of God. Like, God is the ocean, and all of us are drops in the ocean. And in fact, anthropologists said the difference between Europeans and Africans as far as religion, Europeans worship their gods while Africans become their gods, right? And that's something a little deeper to get into. And I said I wasn't going to get too deep into paths and stuff because, people get triggered. But I will say this. Western science has shown that energetically everything is the same. We're all part of the same substance is going through all human beings, all animals, plants, inanimate objects. Everything. Think of it like the force. The force goes through all stuff, and people, and of course in the Star Wars movies, people can manipulate the force. But on a more practical level, all of us, we're energy. And energy doesn't know any bounds or time and space. If you realize that we're all energy on a deep level, like on the deepest level, all of us are connected. All of us are connected to each other. All of us feel each other, right? Now on I'd say a different level, some people will say, be careful of the ideas that they put out, because they say, they'll say, I don't want to put out that negative idea, some because they know it'll come back to them. But all you doing, think of it like this, because I'm trying to think about how to do this in such a way that it doesn't mess with someone's faith too much, because I don't like doing that. But think of it like this. You need something. Think of yourself as a radio station, right? You broadcast something that goes out energetically into the ethers or whatever. There's an answer. The answer will come to you. Or think about prayer. Just think about prayer, period. When you pray, however you worship the Creator, the Creator always answers. The Creator always answers. The thing is, you ain't going to get an answer where the Creator's going to say, yes, my son, go over to the, go over here and do this, and this will solve your problem. It reminds me of a story. This is how it works, and this is part of synchronicity, right? It was a story. It was a flood, And this priest, the flood was getting high. He had to go to the roof, and this priest prayed to God, say, God, please save me, right? And he kept saying, please save me. And then a boat came by and said, hey, get in. And, the priest was like, no, God's going to save me. And the boat just said, hey, whatever, right? Man in the boat said, whatever. The waters kept getting higher. Another boat came by and said, hey, I got it, just get on in. And the priest was like, no, God is going to save me. Then a third boat came by, and, of course, the priest was like, God is going to save me. And the priest ended up drowning. So he get up to heaven, the priest meets God, and said, God, I kept praying for you to save me. And God said, I sent 3 boats. That's how the universe works. When you need something was on your mind, even if you don't make a formal prayer, there's always something that's going to answer the question if you pay attention. Your questions, your prayers, whatever, are always answered. But you have to be able to receive the answer, and you have to pay attention. Sometimes it don't even have to be something directly with you. Say you have a question about something, you want an insight. And then all of a sudden you just talking with a friend, and then they talk about another friend of theirs who's going through the same thing. Now, you didn't ask for it. You didn't tell the friend, but all of a sudden you like, wow. Or, what happens? Sometimes I'll get it. If I want an answer to a question, then I could be sitting down. I could be watching a cartoon show because, I still collect comic books, a superhero show. And all of a sudden somebody does something on there. I'm like, wow. That's synchronicity. Or, that's on one level. Then, of course, there's a level of finding something that you need to find. You need to find, you need to locate something, or you're thinking about somebody and you meet them, Like sometimes I'll have some fun with that. I'll just say, look, I need to see me some fat booty women today. All of a sudden I run into them. It's, it's not really, it shouldn't be seen as mystical or something that you can force. It's just something that you just have to just go with the flow. You really just have to go with the flow. Just pay attention. Because a lot of times people get the answers. Like in the example with the priest, sometimes some people, you get the answers, you get something to save you. And as I like to have told people, I say, God speaks through people. God acts in the world through people, or it opens your eyes to something, it opens your eyes to thoughts. I mean, I remember how I got the place I'm living at now, right? And this was after my separation, right? I needed another spot, and I actually got this on something. I saw the word Craigslist. Somebody mentioned something. I think it was like a Facebook message about getting something on Craigslist. I was like, oh, Craigslist. I looked on there, found the place, lickety split. Because I was having trouble finding some otherwise. Because at the time my credit was shot, so I was just like, damn, I'm gonna get in someplace. But that's how it happens. It's like whatever issue you have or whatever you need to find, just pay attention and it'll come to you. Like I've had people, I've put out the thought of, just as I'm building like my YouTube channels and thinking about podcasting, I've had people just casually mention something. I might have somebody talking about something else and mention, oh yeah, get this type of mic or something, all right? Or use this type of equipment. They'll just tell me. I wouldn't even ask. Or I happen to see, it was funny. It was something I needed because I'm going to actually start, people have been asking me to do my books on Audible, do audio books. And my thing is, if I'm going to do that, I don't want a bunch of noise outside or y'all hear it. So, and I'm trying to avoid having to pay for a recording studio. Because, I'm a cheap bastard. So it was funny. I was thinking that, and then I was happening to look at somebody's one of my Instagram, a person I follow on Instagram. You know, something said, look at one of his videos or something. No, actually, I follow him on Instagram, but he also has a YouTube channel, right? And some said, oh yeah, check out one of his videos. So I checked it out, and the video was good, but then I noticed a piece of equipment in the video, and the piece of equipment was like a kind of like a miniature. You know how they have those pads and stuff like to kind of kill the sound. Like some people have it, some you can sit on a desktop, or sometimes they have them you can sit them on a mic stand. And I saw one, and that's the first time I ever seen it. And I was like, I contacted him. I said, yo, what's that? Because that's exactly what I needed. Because I was thinking, okay, I need to do it. Because before then, I had been looking into recording studios, actually looking into them. Because I said I wanted to be professional. And I said, you know, even though I'm a cheap bastard, I could pay for it. But, you know, the cheap bastard piece comes first. So I'm trying to like save as much money. And, you know, I actually ordered something. I actually have to check on it because the place I ordered it from didn't have them ready. So I had to contact them and say, yo, I haven't got this yet. But anyway, right? That's synchronicity. That's synchronicity right there. So just think about it. Think about all the times that you needed something or you're thinking about something, all of a sudden you see it. Or you get some idea and all of a sudden, or somebody started talking about something that was on your mind and you didn't prompt them. All of that is synchronicity. So anyway, that's it for today. As always, think on this. Peace and blessings.